Hi everyone, it's me Madison with this week's DIY. We are cruising through Valentine's Day week, so I have another Valentine's Day themed bouquet, which is off of our menu. That's right, I'm doing the Love Bouquet today, which is on Flowers and Dreams website, and I'll be making it today in our bronze vase right here. Beautiful. Now the Love Bouquet is your classic reds, and that's why it's a Valentine's Day. It has those reds, light pinks inside of it, a little bit of blush colors in there, and it really screams, hey, I'm into you. So let's get started. So for greens today, we have our classic salal. We use this in a lot of our Valentine's Day bouquets. It's very sturdy and it's a very classic greenery that a lot of florists use, so you should have some of that. We have another special green in this one as well. It's more of like a detailed green. This is called the Grevillea, and it's red. It's very spiky and very pretty. There's flowering Grevillea too, which is very gorgeous. It has these really pretty flowers that kind of curl onto them. But today we're just using the foliage of it today. And it's really spiky. It has a lot of fun texture to it. So we're using some of that. For our flowers, we have the classic, the well-known, the Lush Freedom Rose. These are the classic rose that you think of in terms of like Valentine's Day. When you walk into a store and you see a red rose, you can bet your butt that it's probably a Freedom Rose. So that's what this is. We're gonna be using some of those. We have some Safari Sunsets. These are a really cool linear that I like to use in arrangements. They have a lot of texture to them, and then once they open, this middle part looks like an eyeball. It's very cool. Next, we have another classic flower used inside of floristry. Everyone should know it. Her name is Alstroemeria. She's very beautiful. She has these tiny little flowers inside of them. Some people call them, like, I believe, Thai lilies or something like that, like they're called, or Chinese lilies, something like that, because they're very reminiscent of that once the flowers really start to bloom. And when they grow, they have all these little leaves around them. So we're going to take those off, and I'll show you how to do that. We have these beautiful carnations right here. Carnations are in the family Dianthus, so they're actually in the same family as things like green trick and what is that other one? Yeah, green trick. So this one's really beautiful, and they're really tight, so I'm going to show you guys how to open those up. And then last, but surely not least, we have our beautiful like baby pink spray roses. Now spray roses are pretty much just roses, but their growth pattern is in a spray. So they're like cute little mini roses, and you can reflex them and do really cool stuff with them, just like a regular rose. All right, so let's get started. Again, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna break down our greens. Salal can grow in little pieces like this, so I'm gonna make sure I'm using my salal correctly and smartly because I don't wanna waste anything. I'm gonna split these up. So I'm gonna just cut it up like that. I'm gonna cut them a little lower first because I don't want them to jump out of the bowl. Taking off any leaves that are inside of or beneath the bowl line, that's always important. You don't want any leaves in the water. I say that every week. No leaves in the water. I need to get a shirt that says it. Again, I'm just clipping off any leaves off of my salal that look a little janky, that are diseased. We don't want those. And then I'm taking off any leaves that are beneath the bowl line. We don't want any leaves in our water. Clean stems only in this house. That's what I say. All right. Now when I put my greens inside of here, I made sure that I was crossing my stems because I want to create kind of like a grid with my stems. The goal is when we start putting stems inside of our vase, they won't move around and they'll stay put. We want to keep following that pattern as we put stems in. We're going to go through the like crossings of our stems every single time we put a stem inside. All right. Now we're going to go on with our Grevillea. Grevillea is really nice because you can really cut up the pieces and get a lot out of one stem. So I'm just cutting this up, taking off the pieces that'll be beneath the water line, and then sticking them in places. I'm keeping some pieces longer than others so I can get some reach out of my Grevillea, but then I'm also cutting some pieces a little bit shorter so I can fill in space. We don't want too much empty space because then we can see right into our mechanics, and that ain't cute. That cute in an arrangement. This is a really full piece. I'm gonna keep it nice and full. Just take off those pieces that are beneath the bow line, and I'm gonna use it to kind of get some flair going. It also has a cute little berry in it, so I'll make sure that sticks out. We'll cut off any pieces that are broken. Cut off any stumps. Yeah, you just keep building. Keep on going. What is that one quote from that Disney movie? Meet the Robinsons, keep moving forward. Do we really want to quote Walt Disney though? I don't know. I take it back. So we're gonna keep going in, and we're gonna push these in a little further. Again, I want to get some deep pieces just so I can fill in space, make sure it's all covered. And then bam, all right. Our greenery is gorgeous. Look at that. And you know, since I'm tall, let me look at it from the front. Beautiful. Beauteous. All right. So next I'm gonna go in with my linears. So I'm gonna go in with some of my Safari Sunsets. Now with Safari Sunsets, they have leaves all the way down the stem. So I'm holding my flower at the head, and then I'm stripping off all the leaves from the point I don't want leaves on anymore. So, and it's really smooth. It's actually really satisfying. I really love it. Taking off a little bit more. You want to keep some of those on because you want texture. The leaves of Safari Sunset really add like a lot of pretty texture that I love. Again, taking off all those leaves. You always want to cut your stems little by little because remember, you can always cut more, but you can't bring it back. So, snip carefully, friends. Don't get too scissor happy. All right, so I'm putting one towards the front, a little lower so I can have dimension. I'm having some of them go towards the back, and then I'm gonna put another one on the other side, just so we can have some dimension in our arrangement. If we have everything kind of facing forward, your arrangement is gonna look flat. Also, if you have everything looking at the same height, it's gonna look really round and flat. You want depth, people. Give me some depth. All right. So again, as you put stuff in, your greens might move around. Just adjust, like I'm doing. There we go. All right. Next, I'm gonna go on with my beautiful Freedom Roses. This first one, I'm gonna cut a little shorter, and then I'm gonna do my spin thing. Sometimes Freedom Roses don't like to be spun out, I've noticed, especially when they're tight. So I like to do like a slower spin, so I'm not like hurting any of the petals. Bam, beautiful. And Freedom Roses are actually a really good rose to reflex too, so we're gonna do a little bit of that as well. First, we're gonna take off any petals that look a little janky. I don't really like spinning out Freedom Roses. I really enjoy reflexing them. Freedom Roses, I feel like, are very fragile, so you want to use a gentle hand when you're doing this. I'll stick that one right up there. My next one, we'll do it together. I'm gonna snip it a little shorter. I'm taking off all those petals that look crazy. I'm even gonna take off the sepals. Sometimes, especially with Freedom Roses, if you take off the sepals, which are these tiny little green leaves that sit at the head, the bottom of the head of the flower, and they protect the petals. And they pretty much enclose the petals while the flower is blooming, and then the flowers and the petals and all the organs and all that stuff split from the sepals. So we're gonna actually peel those off. We're gonna peel them so we can get a better reflex. All right, so when I reflex, I take these 3 fingers, my thumb, and then my peace sign fingers, and then I'm gonna go in between each petal and the head, and I'm just gonna flip it gently inside out. Gentle, gentle. I feel like Freedom Rose petals, they rip easily. So if you're gonna reflex them, You need to have a gentle hand. Patience, maybe even. You know, a flower friend of mine actually said that once about how flowers teach patience. Not just because, like, handling them and making them, but because they're a fleeting luxury. And they teach you that if you want to enjoy something, you must enjoy it while it is there, because not everything will be there forever. So it teaches patience. It teaches you to cherish things a bit more. And I just thought that was very beautiful. I thought I'd share that with you guys. You know? All right. So we were patient and we reflexed our roses and we didn't rip a single petal. And look at that. It's a gorgeous reflex. Freedom rose. And freedom roses, when we reflex them, they tend to reflex a bit sharper. Like the reflex is a sharper look. So it's gorgeous. Love it. All right, we're gonna put this one towards the back, high up so everyone can see it. But she's beautiful. And again, I'm not just sticking stuff in here. I'm going through my mechanics and trying to find the best point in my mechanics that are gonna help that thing stand up. All right. Freedom roses don't like being spun out, I feel like. I feel like they have to be really mature. Like I have to have them sit outside of a cooler for a minute. Right? Let's stick this one in the back. All right, next I'm going to go in with my spray roses. Now with spray roses, they have all these little leaves on them, so if you want it to look less weedy, I recommend taking those off. I also recommend taking off some of the blooms because it can look a little bit too crowded sometimes. And those ones that I just took off were kind of ugly, so I'm just gonna rip them off. And then I'm also gonna go around just like I did with my roses, because again, these are just little tiny roses. And I'm gonna take off all the guard petals off of these little sprays. Now since these are little roses, you can low-key reflex these. So we're just gonna go around and we're gonna peel back some of the petals. It's a lot easier to reflex spray roses because you can do like 4 petals at a time. You just peel them back. But you can reflex these as well. Beautiful. Again, I'm just taking these 3 fingers and I'm flipping them inside out, getting the look that I want. Beautiful. Now they're soft and they're open. They're gorgeous. There's my pruners, my beautiful red pruners. All right, I'm gonna stick this one a little bit out towards the front. Now, when I have spray roses, there's some parts that are longer than others, and there's some parts that are shorter. I always, depending on where I'm putting it, I try to make sure I like look at that. Like you see how this looks different than this? You wanna make sure you're paying attention to that. For the angle I'm trying to get, I think I'm gonna have the longest stem at the bottom so that it like pushes outward. And then this part brings depth and like different heights into your arrangement. Learned that little trick from my good friend Betty from Mayedge. I don't think she watches these, but if she is, hey girl. This one, I'm going to put a little bit more in the back, but not too much in the back. I'm gonna have the smallest one facing frontward, and then the tallest one a little more toward the back, just a little. Now remember, I'm tall, y'all, so I need to look at what it's looking like. Beautiful. All right, with our Alstro now, I'm gonna peel off all of these tiny little leaves. Make sure you hold the flowers while you're doing this so you're not ripping off a crap ton of flowers. Put this one towards the back. I'm just taking off some of the leaves because it distracts you from the flower. So I like to take a few of them off just so you can see the beautiful blooms of Alstro. Then I'm gonna take this last one and I'm gonna peel off these right here. And then I'm gonna put that one right there. She's gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, now I'm gonna go in with my carnations. Now the carnations are like this, they're kind of closed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the sepals of this plant, which are again right below the head. I'm gonna peel them back slowly and then fluff them out. Fluff, fluff, fluff. Okay. I'm gonna stick that one right there in the middle. Actually, I'm gonna stick it right here in the front. There we go. Let me see if I like that. I sure do. Again, I'm peeling back my sepals and fluffing out my carnations. Really want them to be nice and big and take up a lot of space. And then I'm going to do the same to this one, taking off any of those little tiny leaves that are on the stem. Peeling back the sepals, fluffing out the carnation. So it's nice and big and showy. That one right there. All right, so now it's time for final touches. We're gonna look at our arrangement. We're gonna pull some things out, push some things in, really play with our heights, see what we're liking, what we're not liking. Making sure it doesn't look too flat. You want some depth in our arrangement, so pulling some things in. All right, and then that is our DIY for this week. Oop, girl, I just almost dropped it. So this is our DIY for this week. We have the Love Bouquet, again, that's off of our menu. It has this beautiful red bouquet, or these red roses on it, and then we have these blush roses and these carnations, and then we have this alstromera also as well, that pairs with our red. I need to redo this because I can't. Can you tell them? I'm filming. I'm sorry. All right, so after our final touches, this is our Love Bouquet. Our Love Bouquet features these beautiful red freedom roses that really remind me of Valentine's Day and love. I reflexed them to have some like shape to them so they look a little bit more sharper, so they're super cool. Then we have our touches of pink. We have our pink spray roses that are really beautiful and soft. And then we have our Creole carnations that add almost like a tannish color, but still that light blushy color. Then we have our Safari Sunsets that bring in the burgundies that pairs really well with our Grevillea and our alstromera. What a wonderful bouquet. And it's on our website. Just saying, if you liked making it, you can get it again. So I'll see you guys next week. Again, it's always been a pleasure. Make sure you send your pictures of what you did this week with the DIY to Flowers for Dreams Detroit or at Flowers for Dreams on Instagram. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.